I'm sure that all of us at some point in our lives have reflected on our family backgrounds and our family heritage. We do that because I think we all need to know where we came from, because in theory, knowing where we came from can help us in some respect get to where we are going. We also do it because we are proud. We are very proud of those that came before us, especially when they look like us, talk like us, and maybe even come from the same island like us. Today we have the opportunity to say thank you to a man for whom we are so proud because of his love of country and his respect for his heritage. Manuel Diaz Rivas, known as Manny, is a hero. He represents an Army infantry unit with its roots in Puerto Rico. The actions of this unit are the stuff about which history books are written, and for whom the Gold Medal of Honor has been bestowed. It is my honor to join with my council president, Theo Gregory, my council colleagues, and our friends throughout the community in celebrating the bravery of the Burinqueneers and noting with pride their role in our country's history and their role in solidifying what we all know to be the strength, wisdom, and fortitude of the Hispanic people and culture. Let's come together now and enjoy each other's company, because this is a time for thanks and celebration. I do hope that you will join us when our meeting begins at 6:30, and shortly after, we are going to present Mr. Manny Diaz with his resolution. Thank you so much.
On behalf of the City Council, thank you for being here. When we do these kinds of resolutions, I count them as a blessing. This is the fun part of being an elected official. We do enough stress stuff, but when we can do something like this, it's just a blessing, in my opinion. As I do all military folk, I didn't serve in the military. I don't know if that's fortunate or unfortunate, but I did not serve in the military. But I just want to say to you, thank you. Thank you to the 65th for my freedom and my safety. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to tell you briefly that how we got to this point was that when I was contacted by Frank Medina from Puerto Rico with the National Guard, he was lobbying and working with a group of people to make sure that the Burinqueneers were recognized for their part in the history, American history. And they were lobbying and trying to get the Congress, Senate to vote. They needed 8 more votes to make sure that this went through so they could be recognized like the Buffalo Soldiers, the Tuskegee Airmen, and the Navajo Windtalkers. And we here on City Council sponsored a resolution. We sent it to the federal delegation, and one of the missing votes from Delaware, Senator Carper, he signed on within 24 hours, and within 2 or 3 days, they got the remaining votes, and they were able to get their medal from President Obama June 10th, 2014. So we're very proud of that. Unbeknownst to us here on City Council, that Manny Diaz lived in Delaware. So one of our city employees reached out to me, Patricia Maley, who's here right now. Patricia, where are you? Raise your hand. Patricia said, Maria, do you know that one of those gentlemen is Manny Diaz, and he lives in Delaware, and he sings in the choir at my church? And I said, what do you mean? Because I didn't have the addresses. So for us, I think it's even a greater opportunity to say that not only were we part of helping get those votes, but that he's here in Delaware, he's a Delawarean. So at this time, I want to bring up to the podium Mr. Manuel Manny Diaz Rivas.
Before Manny speaks, I want to recognize, young man, if you could just move to the side a little bit. I want to recognize one of the mayors of Wilmington who's in the audience, Maria Matos. Maria, would you put your hand up, please? Thank you. I said one of the mayors of the city of Wilmington. I didn't say the mayor, I said one of.
Just say a few words. It's your night.
I appreciate whatever you do, whatever you are doing for me, but right here, there is a lot of veterans that they did their part. That's what I say.
Si quieres, puedes hablar en español.
Oh,
Se habla español.
I'm talking in the Shakespeare language. Muchas gracias por el reconocimiento. Muy agradecido. Pero hay muchos veteranos más. Inclusive aquí hay veteranos. Mi yerno, my son-in-law, my grandson back there, he was a captain in the force. My nephew, Baeza, is here too. They are veterans too. They serve. And we all appreciate what they did too. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
We want to recognize Councilman Bud Friel. If you put your hand up, Bud. Councilman Bob Williams, if you put your hand up. Councilwoman Hanifa Shabazz was here. She's still here. You can close.
I also would like to recognize that we have the president of the Delaware Hispanic Commission, Javier Torrijos, and his lovely wife, his right-hand person, Deborah Torrijos. And also, I would like to have the members of the Knights of Columbus, if you would just raise your hand and say hello. They are here, and they're going to escort Mr. Manny Diaz to receive his resolution tonight on council floor. And just thank you to all of you for serving, for all the veterans. I am the daughter of a veteran. Both my father, my uncle served, my uncle in the Air Force, my father in the Navy, and my cousins and my sister was in the Army. So I too come from a family of veterans, and we truly, truly appreciate the ultimate sacrifice that you have made for our country, and especially what you did while you were in Korea and Vietnam, and we really thank you for that. Thank you so much. And Europe. He's been in so many places, but for the details of what Mr. Manny Diaz Rivas has accomplished, we're going to read that at the resolution, so we don't want to be redundant. There's a lot of heroics and medals of honors that he's received. So again, thank you for joining us. And Mr. Gregory, would you like to close this out? Okay.
Thank you, and Ms. Melly, thank you very much for just a heads up and being able to favor us with this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Oh. I do want to recognize Miss Hispanic Delaware, who's joining us. This is what I love. Oh, she already spoke. Perfect. Oh, and Chica, we have our Hispanic liaison with the mayor's office representing here today, Ramon Chico Rodriguez. Say hello. And if you'll indulge me a moment, my son wanted to say a few words. He's following in his mom's footsteps, but as a young man and me sharing the story of Mr. Diaz, he had some thoughts, and I said, you know, if there's an opportunity, I'll let you share them.
Okay. Hi. Name's Vincent.
Say your name.
Name's Vincent. And well, what I want to say about Manny Diaz is that he's a hero, and that he's a hero to me and a couple people out there. And what I also want to say is that some kids forget that people like Manny Diaz risk their life and put their life in jeopardy for us. And that's what I want to share, and that he is very important to me, my family, my mom, and he's an inspiration to me, my family, and most of the people and everybody out there. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.